Hey everyone, Yukeen here. In this video we're going to be doing a review of the Nemesis rework. Before today, she wasn't really worth using at all. Her kit was just very underpowered. She was the slowest SSR unit in the game. They've changed that a lot. They improved her base speed by 40, which is a drastic increase. And they've changed out changed up her kit quite a bit. Her leader skill is fire and dark allies get increased critical strike damage dealt by 20%. Not the best leader skill out there. You can definitely get a lot more crit damage as a substat than any of the other stats in the game. But if you're running like a gimmick team with a max skilled Cheshire to provide the 100% crit damage buff or crit chance buff, that has some potential for a fire dark team. But yeah, her first passive, which was drastically reworked, it's actually pretty decent now. It's turned her into more of a kind of a tanky bruiser anti-revive unit. She gains a shield equal to 20% of her max HP for 1 turn when she gains a dark orb. If there's 3 or more dark orbs when attacking, it consumes all of the dark orbs to deal 120% of attack that ignores defense. This is a very nice proc effect. It's only proc from her first or third skill. Preferably when you have 3 dark orbs, you want to use it on the third skill. And the reason being is this is effectively just applying this extra damage effect to that skill. So with the first skill, it's going to be using all those orbs, and you're going to be doing an additional 120% to one target, right? Which is good, but her third skill does 120% base to all enemies, and then an additional 120% that ignores defense, with the team-wide chance to proc the unable to be revived for 2 turns. And that max skill that goes up to 45% chance with 192% of attack. So a very strong, just team-wide chance to apply no revive, and with 3 orbs, that can end up being just killing most of the enemy team or a lot of the weaker units. She would pair very well with Cheshire and any other AoE teams. Like Mina would be a very good unit to pair with her for arenas because of that effect. She kind of directly competes with Mary for the no revive AoE. You could run both of them to just try and get as much no revive out as possible on your first turn. Again, comboed kind of with Cheshire for the 100% crit chance if you can skill her up. The first skill, they drastically increase the unable to be revived chance, and when maxed, this goes up to 65% for 2 turns. This is a very powerful effect. Again, primarily in arenas. A lot of players run healers on the team, even like 2 or 3 healers sometimes. Generally 2 healers, but usually it's like Rue and Ramu or Sid, all of which who have revives that will allow you to kind of recover when one of your units dies. This will just effectively prevent that from ever occurring. It can cancel out passive skills like Morrigan's auto revive, Karen and Deimos. If she kills someone with the unable to revive up, will proc their effect and essentially negate it. It does not work against resolve effects. because resolve effects just prevent the character from dying in the first place. But again, very strong effect for arenas primarily. Her second passive obtains 1 Dark Orb at the start of the turn or wave. 100% chance to obtain 1 Dark Orb every time she inflicts the unable to be revived effect. So that's generally how she's going to be building up her Dark Orbs, is primarily with her first skill. Preferably I'm going to be running a lot of Counter Strike on her to kind of potentially get more chances to proc this, to in turn give her a refresh on the 20% HP shield. But yeah, her second skill, lastly, gives her a critical strike chance increase for 2 turns, a very low amount, and then just immediately gives her 3 Dark Orbs, which is very nice to start out with. The amazing part of this is the attack speed increase. Most units are going to be running around 570. If you're running attack speed runes a lot of attack speed runes in arena, you could get that up to 650, with some of the faster units getting to around 700. What this is effectively doing is this is going to make it so her turn comes back around much faster. It's been tested, and if you have much more speed than other characters, your turn will actually come back around before other characters can get a turn. So like if she ends up going first and uses a second skill to increase her speed, she might end up going like 2 turns later. Increasing this skill level increases the crit chance buff and also the attack speed buff. Probably at max level, it might make her just almost immediately go again, or after one other character goes. So you really want to combo this in terms of you use the second skill. When she gets her turn again, you use her third skill to apply the 120% damage that ignores defense, in addition to just the AoE on the entire enemy team, with the potential to proc more no revives. And if she happens to proc that and kill them at the same time, then they're just dead for good. She does have some counters. Rue can remove the shields at the start of her turn. Same thing with Ruby. She can remove the shields. Cynthia, I believe, can also prevent her from getting shields, though she'll still get the Dark Orbs, I believe. The way I would rune her, preferably attack set, generally. The attack set runes, so like Rune of Rage with HP, or Rune of Rage with Counter Strike set, is another option. Or if you're running her with like not a Mina but a Cheshire for the crit buff, like when her second skill is maxed, gives that 100% crit chance. You could run her crit damage with just as much speed as you can, and kind of aim for that to kill the enemy team, and to take advantage of those no revive effects so they can't recover. Generally for PvE, I see her being more of a tanky DPS type unit. It really depends if you can use, if she can apply that no revive effect to her 2 bosses. I think they are immune to her because it is a abnormal status. So she may not be as strong in PvE or in Advents, though again, she will be a relatively tanky DPS because at the start of her turn she will be getting the Dark Orbs to get that extra shield every turn, which may be useful for some Advents. I could definitely see her being potentially useful in like Kali, for just the AoE and the shielding, especially if you don't have like a Morrigan or something. Usually Morrigan, as much damage as she does in there, because she is a featured unit, I find myself not really attacking the boss, just because if she does, she ends up pulling aggro off the tank, and I really don't want that to happen. But overall, I'm much happier with the state that Nemesis is in compared to what she was before. Before, she just wasn't even worth building. And just overall, I really like her design, and she will see quite a bit of use, I think, in arenas as kind of just an arena focus anti-reviver, kind of similar to Mary, who also has a similar effect, though she'll be much more consistent in applying that anti-revive, since she has a good chance on her first and on her third. That's my review for Nemesis. If you're interested in watching, I stream during the weekdays starting around 7 p.m. EST. You can check out my Twitch channel, which I'll be posting a link in the description of the video. Overall tier, I would rate her more probably around B tier for A or B tier for arenas. Probably more A tier for arenas. I have to really test her out for PvE before I have a better idea of how useful she'll be there. But probably C, maybe B, depending on if she can use that in for advent bosses. Thank you for your time.